What's good? What's good, everybody? How y'all doing out there? Welcome to another edition of Real Talk with Real Men. We keep it short by saying real talk. So this is our Wednesday show. So typically on Wednesdays, if this is your first time joining, popping in, we tend to discuss things a little bit more serious. My show can be found on YouTube and Facebook under the umbrella of TFG and on its own. So if you're just looking for Real Talk for Real Men on YouTube, you can find me. You can also find me as part of the TFG plethora of shows. And I'm under the category of TFG Uncut, TFG Ratchet, because we tend to have adult, frank, open, honest conversation, but without the conflict. And so I want to bring in my co-host from Memphis. This is Miss Tasha. What's going on, McMac?
I am here. Let me just say that.
You know, I kind of could sense that, but I appreciate you being here because the energy, sometimes it's hard to muster, but I appreciate you, sweetheart. I'm going to do my best to carry the show with my energy because I too am dealing with a stressful week, but glad to be here. This is usually very cathartic. So, welcome to Real Talk. This is Tasha. This is Lee Black. Let's bring in my boy from Texas, Mr. Kenny. What's going on, my brother? What's up? What's up? How you doing out there? My brother, he's been having some technical issues out there, so hopefully we get a chance to pop in. I see we've got Mr. Charles Moore. What's going on, Charles? How you doing, partner? And specifically, hanging there, Tasha. That's what's up. So, brother Kenny, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are you
Oh,
doing out there
okay.
today?
I'm doing all right, man. I don't know, man. My Wi-Fi connection has been bugging this week, so y'all just bear with me. If you see me trip,
Most
don't
deaf.
say nothing. That's what it is.
Most deaf for sure. So we're gonna make it do what it do. Yeah, real estate insider, what's going on? How you doing? He said, "Sup, fam." That's my boy. In case you don't know, Mr. Lamar himself. And fantastic that I'm proud to be a part of the platform. Real estate insider. Don't forget to check that out. Doing fantastic under the TFG umbrella. And so also that's Mr. Sports Guy himself on TFG, Mr. Kenny as well. So definitely make sure you check
Yes, sir.
everything out about them. And Charles said, "Got my Green Bay Packer Wi-Fi." So that's what's
Charles,
up.
look, you can't talk, brother. You sitting on the couch with us, bro. Now, all right, be respectful. Be respectful. Okay.
That's what's up. Well, let's get on into it. Hopefully, some of the members of the fan might join. I'm told the Postons probably won't be in today, tonight. So look, life is going on. What we gonna talk about tonight? I'm hoping my sis pops in, but if not, we're gonna hold it down for everybody. The topic for tonight is intimacy and sex as we age. So I always kind of give a little context to how I come at these topics and what makes me bring these up. Sometimes I get them from other people. He said y'all been there longer, been on the couch we're talking about. But here's the situation. We are in the throes of winter. I am not fortunate enough to have anybody to be cuffed up with this winter. And so I've had a lot of time to reflect on what I want and what I'm really looking for at this stage. And one of the things I've come to crystallize and realize truly is that I am not the same person I was not even 5 years ago, not even 3 years ago. That what I'm really wanting is something so different. And so it hit me like a ton of bricks that, wow, my taste, my focus the things that's important to me have really changed as I've started to age, and so many different reasons why. So I wanted to talk about tonight what that looks like, that as you get older, just in general, and as time goes by. So even when I say as we age, I'm not talking about somebody getting old, 70 and 80 years old. I just mean that as we evolve, you know, what that looks like in terms of how you view intimacy and how you view sex. Because we've all realized that nothing stays the same over time. Relationships themselves change, how you look at things change. Um, for me personally, what's more important at this stage, lust or trust? All of those are factors. So before I get into this, because we're going to examine some specific areas, how I wanted to talk about how your level of intimacy and view of sex change over time, for you, just in general, both of you two, you know, if you had to encapsulate just in general, you know, have you changed over time? Have your views, values, priorities changed? And I'm talking in particular, like over the maybe like the last 5 years, or are they just the same?
Hmm. Um, I let Tasha go. That's something I got to think about.
Okay.
Definitely. I would say, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're not changing and evolving after, spending time by yourself, whether or not it's forced or not or voluntary, I would think that, you may, like that you would change. And I definitely think that I've changed, like a lot of my views and what and if the time comes for me to get back into a relationship, what I would value and what I would be looking for more of and demanding almost on the front end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I concur 1,000%. What about you, Brother Kenny?
I definitely know, it's definitely have changed over the last probably 10 years, to be honest with you. I definitely do. Uh, I've
Oh, man. We're going to give, he's having some Wi Fi issues. So we're going to give him those few moments to see if it clicks back
come back
in.
in. Let me
There
come
we go.
back in, guys.
There you
I'm gonna
go.
try something different.
There you go. She's going to
Y'all
try
go
something
ahead. I'm gonna
different.
come back in though.
Okay. That's
Okay.
what's up. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
So look, we're getting ready to have a frank conversation. So look, the language is about to kind of get raw, real. Anybody who know me, I keep it as raw and real as I can. And it's not going to be vulgar just for the sake of being vulgar, but I do want to, deal with some honesty. And so, Tasha, look, if it's just you and I, we're going to have this conversation with just you and I, you know. So and again, share as much as you feel like sharing. And this is not, to dig in anybody's business, but I'm going to share some truths, that I'm going through. And so this show is very personal for me. The first area I want to talk about is changes in your libido. Now, when we use the word libido, which is a nice clinical term, we're talking about your sex drive, your want to have sex, just the desire to have sex. And so, on its face value, look, for full disclosure, I'm 55 years old. Tasha, I don't know, you never minded me telling your age. You're 33. So you're literally 20.
34.
All right. So you're going
Wait,
to really add that
give me
extra
my
year now.
year.
Damn. Okay. All right. All right. So I'm literally 20 years older than you. And so we know in relationships in general, especially over time, how the libido can change. And, I want to talk about whether this is normal. But even with you and I, especially being single, I want to give our perspective in general. So talking about your libido, your want and desire to have sex, or especially even initiated, how has that changed for you in terms of your libido?
It's definitely changed. If we're still gonna stick like with the same like time frame of like the last 5 years, oh, mine has decreased significantly, and it's a lot of factors. I'm gonna say definitely. I would say like weight is an issue, which has caused mine to decrease. I don't feel comfortable, just really having sex anymore, especially like with someone new. No, don't feel like doing that right now. And
Okay.
just, I would say also like a lot of things like in the background going on, like with work, just life in general, just with family, it definitely has decreased. And
Okay.
because for me, because I'm not in a relationship and because I'm not trying to be in a relationship,
Okay.
I'm okay with it. It's
Okay.
fine for me. So
Okay. Let me ask you this. Would you say for you there are more external or internal factors that have affected your personal libido, your
internal.
desire to have sex? Internal.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you the same thing, Brother Kenny. How has your libido changed and has it, over time? Especially again, we're talking about a 3 to 5 year window.
Yeah, can you hear me? You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
Much
you
Okay,
better.
great, man.
okay, good, good. Yeah, it's definitely changed over, the last probably 6 to 7 years. I obviously, physically when you get older, like you were just saying, black things change, especially for
Hmm.
men. So sometimes that get up and go don't get up and go when you want to. It didn't get up and went. So yeah, that kind of affects your confidence a little bit. So your approach to sex may be a little bit differently, where you may are cool with being a little more of the intimate part of the cuddling and all that good stuff. So you just have to figure it out, and hopefully you find someone that's cool with that. I mean, that's understanding or whatever. So
Absolutely. And so I'm gonna ask you the same thing then. Do you find with that change that came, has it been because more of external or internal factors?
mm, for me, it's probably been more of internal. I would say. Uh, because my thing is I'm not, I've never really been like a hit it and quit it type cat anyway.
Okay.
If I'm into you, I definitely I'm gonna be a physical and the other mental that as well. So a lot of it is, man, I ain't got, if I ain't feeling you, I'm not gonna even waste my time. I have a lot of discipline, I'll be honest with you. I have went
Wow.
years without being intimate,
Right.
and that's because of my self-discipline. So, but
Okay.
don't so that's kind of how I've approached it in my 50s, so to
Okay.
speak.
Okay. Wow. So for me, mine has definitely changed. My libido has changed considerably. At one time, I know that I was a sex addict. And I use sex to basically get through my day, even. And I'm talking about this in a serious context. I joke a lot and I say a lot of shit that's funny, but in reality, some of the things I used to go through, I've been homeless, I've been jobless, you know, uh, whether I was in school and, you know, struggling. And even when I was working, sex for me at one time was the answer. I never really had a whole lot of external hobbies, so I've never been a car person, never had pets, so for me, it was always drinking and women, and that's pretty much what I used to get by with everything. And so it was automatic. And here I am now, especially in the last 3 years for me, the last 3 years in particular, my libido has suffered tremendously, just even in my desire to want to have sex. I remember when I first embarked on this journey to say, well, I'm going to be celibate. And I slipped up, many times, because again, I was accustomed to it was just a normal part of my thing. But something funny happened in there to where it got to the point where for me, Kenny, it wasn't that I was disciplined, it went away.
Mm.
It actually went away. I found myself not depending on it anymore and not even thinking about wanting to have sex. I still see women in the same way when I look at them as objects. And I'm being so that part hasn't really changed. When I look at a woman, the last thing I look at is her face. I'm still looking at her body, but something up here changed to where I don't automatically transition like a nice body and everything, but now it doesn't translate to, man, I want some pussy, and I got to go do something about it. Now, for me, whether it's been internal or external, the crazy part for me has been a little bit of both. And we're going to get into specifics talking about weight and things a little bit later. But even inside, for me, it's not just that psychologically I don't feel as attractive. I don't have the urge and the desire, and I'm tired. What's become more important to me now is sleep. And I've been jokingly saying this for a while, but it became so true. If there is a choice now between fucking and getting some sleep, I'm going to choose sleep 8 times out of 10. It's just that not that important to me anymore. Now, the external factors that have affected that for me, is anybody who knows me, I hate twerking. I've grown to hate it. I never thought I would get to a place where I see so much of women now that they've left nothing to the imagination, and it's taken all of the enjoyment out of it for me. And so for me, from an external factor, that's just one thing. There was a time when I could go back, and I remember going to a club, for example, and certain songs came on and a woman bent over, and it was the sexiest thing in the world to me. When I look at somebody now dancing suggestively in TikTok videos and whatever, it's a complete and total turnoff. And so that's just one of the things. So externally, I don't see women in the same way. For you, Tasha, I want to ask you in particular, because you're a woman and how you see men, is there an external factor for you in terms of how you even see men that has affected your libido, or no? Does it work that way with the woman's mind?
No, well, I can speak for myself. Yes, it has for me. And I was gonna, make that point, because as soon as Kenny, started adding it, it did make me think of, just in general, just what's out here and what's available. It's almost exhausting, because a lot of people are listening to some of the most outrageous and outlandish dating advice and trying to apply it to their lives, and it's affected like everything, to where it's just like, like what people prioritize in their lives, how it's bleeding over just into everything. It's such a turnoff. And for me, especially, one thing that I'm seeing, and it may upset some people, but I'm gonna say it. For me, one big thing that I see is this whole push of this entrepreneur, where everybody has to be like a business owner, and their
Right.
main focus is always about money, 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 this, money, that, money. Like it is the
Yes.
only thing that they
Yes.
think about, and that is such a turn off to me. Like, do you have anything else we can talk about?
Yeah.
Tasha, do you
That's
know I feel that same
true.
way about women? I'm so sick of, I'm on my grind and I'm about my bag. It turns me off and I've lost interest. So, Brother Kenny, you want to add anything here?
No, Tasha hit that. That's definitely been frustrating too. Again, everybody's want to chase the bag, and it's about about this. I'm doing this. I got this cooking or whatever. But what about trying to develop a relationship? What about that? What happened to that? It just feel like it. You can't. That bag and that money can't hug you at night. It can't keep you warm. And no, don't get me wrong. I get it. Money's important. I get that, but doggone it, can we have a little bit more range to us? Can we?
And so for that reason, yeah, intimacy wins out at this stage for me, because it's killed my libido and I just need more than that. I'm past that spot. And before I leave this, Tasha, I want to ask one other question. I would be remiss if I didn't ask this. To me, sitting on the outside looking in, I think there has been an effeminization of men. That's what I see. What's up, Hannah? How you doing, sweetheart?
Hey, what's up, Hannah?
But I'm curious, as a woman, from what you see, I talk to Tasha all the time, and I posted this on my page. This whole dancing thing by men. Look, you can call me old man, sit on the couch if you want to. There was a time when I almost wish we went back to the time when men didn't really dance. Or when a man did dance, he had that little two-step on the floor. What's happened, and I don't know if to blame Ellen for this or TikTok or who the fuck I need to blame, but all these men with these what do you call it, group dances, I'm searching for the right word, that everything is a dance and coordinated dances and the amount of time that goes to that. And for me, I am sorry, I'm a chauvinist. I've told you this guys many times. It's just so effeminate to me, but I'm curious and specific. Do you see it that way? And not just dance, do you see men as more effeminate? And does that turn you off?
I don't know if I really see them. Well, males, because again, I don't even know if I would even classify them as men. Like, like where they may be of the male species, but would I consider them men though? I don't.
Wow.
I think there's an oversaturation of boys that are
Wow.
available, not men.
Wow.
I don't
Wow.
know if there's, like I have to believe that there are still real men out there, but this social media, what that has created and what that's led to is a lot of boys who fall in the category under male. Like they're like I don't know, it's like a subcategory,
No,
you know.
I wasn't looking at it that way, and I appreciate you sharing that. And before I move on, Kenny, I'll ask you about that. Is it just me that just bothers me, or all this goddamn dancing by these men? Does it bother you?
It, I guess it kind of bothers me, but I think about it like this, man. This is the generation we in, bro. Real talk. But you don't see the dudes in our age group doing that though. That's the thing. It's these young
That's
cats
true.
that doing it.
Yeah.
So I just chalk it up to, hey, that's that generation thing. They do what they do. Me personally, I'm with you, brother
Maturity.
Black. That ain't us. But we wasn't really even doing that when that wasn't our thing.
No.
That
And
wasn't
I
our
think
thing
that's
either.
why it bothers me. And I think that's why.
Maturity. That's what it is. It's a lot of immaturity out
Okay.
here.
And that's why I think it bothers me, because you're right. I don't see 40s and 50s necessarily doing it. But I remember even when I did dance, and I was a smooth motherfucker on the floor back then, but it was a time and a place where you get out there, and it always had a means to an end. It was getting out there on a certain specific song to do one specific line dance, maybe, because I know everybody was looking. And at the end of the day, it was designed to get me some pussy. But these motherfuckers out here, they just dancing and shaking for the sheer joy of it. And it just pisses me off. God rest your soul, Twitch, but you twitched a little too goddamn much for me. I'm just going to say.
Boy. Oh, boy.
I
Here we go.
He did. He really did. Okay,
Oh,
let's move on and drill down a little more. Changes in sexual interests. And I'll if y'all want, I'll go first on this one if y'all don't need time to think. But for you, changes in sexual interests and how this has impacted intimacy versus sex. Does anybody want to go first, or do you want me to go?
I want you to expound on that. Are you asking me if I'm still into men? Yes, I'm still into men.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
is that what you mean?
Yes. Well, that's a part of it because
Okay.
because you're right. Because the changing in sexual, we live in a time now of sexual fluidity. We absolutely live in a time of sexual fluidity and how that has affected sex versus intimacy. So I'm going to go right there where you went. I remember when I was working in an office building the last time, I'm not going to say the school, not going to put anybody on blast, but I remember having conversations with one of my coworkers who I was really cool with. And what she said was, sometimes I feel like having sex with a woman, sometimes I feel like having sex with a man. It just really depends. And that level of sexual fluidity has truly infected me in terms of sex and intimacy, because once upon a time when I was out there putting up numbers and fucking, I did have some sense of security knowing that at least Sticks was going in this bitch. But now that pussy is being played with sticks, tongues, objects, and whatever. And it's just turned me the fuck off. Just frankly, just even that part of it. But then even in terms of what turns me on now has really, really changed.
What has it changed to? That's I guess that's
oh
the
my
B,
God.
That's the B to the A. Because okay, go ahead.
Well, for me, I can even say my sexual interest, 9 times out of 10 now, I don't even want the pussy. I just want the head. I trust a woman's head more than I trust her pussy. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, the home of the CDC, where STDs are running rampant. They're morphing, they're changing, they're resistant to drugs that they used to be, because everybody's fucking everybody, and it's affected my interest in what I even want to do sexually. I'm more willing to gamble with this here dick by getting head than stuffing it in somebody's pussy or their ass. Pure and simple.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Now for me, Tasha, if you want to go, you can go ahead. You good?
Go ahead, Kenny.
I'm always following black off the chain. No pun intended. but as far as changes in my there has, I can honestly say there has probably not been any change in my sexual interest. I'm definitely still interested in only women. I'm hetero to the bone. First of all, get that out the get that. Let's get that in place. And I'm I can say no. My interest really hasn't changed. I like what I like, and I know when I see you. So yeah,
I envy you. I truly, truly envy you. I do, and I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. Tasha, what about for you?
And as far as sexual interest, no, that for me, that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. What I'm interested in, anything like that, no.
Wow. I may be sitting out here on a limb by myself, but I envy you two then, because everything about it has changed. I know I'm being colorful and everything, but it really, really has, in so many different ways. And again, it's hygiene, it's the fear of diseases. Now I concentrate on, what they're doing. Once upon a time, getting head was something special. Now everybody sucks dick, so it's not even really special anymore. You can throw a rock and find somebody that suck dick. Not all of them is the skill level is not always the same, but the willingness to do it is certainly there. No, I'm being so serious. And then even when I fall all the way into having sex, I find that I'm old school now. Maybe they've left me behind. I don't want to do a whole lot of tricks in the bedroom. I'm happy with, we don't have to go through the whole calisthenics and everything like that. Get naked. Let me give you a good once over and shit. I want to see that the titties, halfway in good shape. Inspect the pussy, do the scratch and sniff test, and then okay, let's go ahead on and do what we're gonna do. But all the other extra things that go along with it now, and that's what's made it for me into a place where now it's so much work that it's just not worth it. There are times I'm laying in my bedroom and I think about doing something, and I weigh the cost and the hustle and bustle of it, and it's just not worth it. And so I pass up on it. My sister says, not me, brother man. So I'm assuming she's saying her preferences haven't changed. Shafana says, my preference hasn't changed. I still only want a man. However, I can say now I'm more sexually open, but no sharing.
gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
So I appreciate that. Well, I've
gotcha.
always been sexually open, so that part is not changed. If
Let,
anything, I think I'm reverting because now I want to close some shit. But go ahead, Kenny.
let me ask you this, Black. Do you and then Tasha? I think you touched on this a little bit earlier. Do
Mhm.
you think that maybe it's because you physically you're not where you want to be physically, far as your body wise and health wise? Has that been some sort of part of the issue, far as your interest?
So we're gonna even talk about that a little bit more.
Oh, okay,
But
okay,
for sure. But I want to even answer that right now. Yeah, that's played a part in it. To be perfectly honest, I'm older, heavier. I got health issues. So that's impacted it. It's some. But even the need to do it. And that's why I was talking about some of the other things that even strip away just from the physical hygiene. It's
right,
major. And that
yeah,
has nothing to do with my weight or my ability to do it.
gotcha,
It's become that much harder to find somebody that meets my standards when it comes to hygiene. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
so that has impacted my interest in even wanting to go there. I tell a story famously when last time I was in a club, I was a fully attracted to the person in terms of the look and the body. But as the night waned on, and the more she shook and danced, you know, I got she went more from ladylike to hoe. And then of course the hygiene part kicked in. The more she leaned up against me, the sweaty funkiness from the back of her neck and hair was a complete and total turnoff to the point where I couldn't get it out of my brain at that point.
that
You
would have
know,
turned me off too, though. I think every man would have been turned off by that.
you know, and but I don't think not. I don't know. I hope you. I hope. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if people have that same standard anymore because even when I've had bitches in, there's a reason why I call them nasty, filthy, no good bitches because most of them come in here. When they come to my home and everything, you have to insist that they wash the fuck up. And then if they suck your dick, they stand right up and they don't drip a drop and they don't even want to gargle anymore. I used to hide my mouthwash, because there was a time when they would, want to gargle. These nasty bitches don't even go near the bathroom. They sluck down every last drop that I got and be standing there looking for more till I'm good and dry. Like I ain't got no more for you. You know what I'm saying? Going about your business. You
Let
know?
me let me just say this because as you was going on right there, and I'm just thinking about just this question more like changes in sexual interest. I think I'm like in a weird place where I don't even think I could actually answer that honestly. Because not for y'all to be all up in my business like that, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. I haven't had like anything new in the last 5 I haven't had anything new in the last
Wow.
5 years.
Wow.
So I've only connected with people that I've
Always
always known like
been
for like a long time, over
right,
10 years. You know what I mean? So there's like a level of comfort there that
right.
I don't even like consider. So, who knows? Maybe if that, like I
Okay.
said, if the time ever came, maybe I would look at it differently, but I don't know if I can actually even answer that.
Okay.
But I'm still, let me just say this though. I'm still only into dick. Okay. That's it. I'm only into dick. Okay. Let's just be very clear.
But
Not
I got
that
a
old.
but I got a question on that note, then.
Mhm.
What has happened? And you tell as much as you want to tell with this answer. What has happened then that if there was a point where when you met a stranger that you got you some strange to
Mhm.
where now you won't cross that line?
Is there a line that I wouldn't
No,
like? Is there
no,
a
no.
line?
I'm asking specifically. Okay, maybe I'll phrase it a different way. What, am I to understand? There was a time when if you saw somebody first time, you did the one night stands. You got some strange.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. What has happened that now that doesn't happen? That when you see somebody, what has happened that for you that button is no longer pushed, that man, because I'm coming to you next, Kenny. As men, we always talk about getting us some strange. That
Mhm.
that has always been appealing to men, that I want me some new pussy. What has
Mm-hmm.
happened to you though, Tasha, that now that doesn't even happen? So
Oh,
if you're out and about or wherever, what's happened?
that's all internally. Like that, the first question for me internally, not even wanting to just put myself out there because, and I know we'll get to it, but just not being like the best version of myself.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. What about you, brother Kenny? You know, you mentioned having that self-control. I see you at the gym, getting your
Mm-hmm.
gym on. You look to be in good physical shape. You're single, nice looking brother. You only like bitches.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that stops you from, I see something and man, let me break my edict and get me some strange. What stops you?
That's a damn good question. I think because I'm looking for something more than just sex,
Mm, mm.
and if that's just it, then I'll pass. You know what I mean? I'll
This is
pass.
exactly what the show
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Intimacy versus sex. That if I'm hearing you right, then you've evolved past, if it's just sex, I can hold out. I'm
right.
looking for something more.
Yep, that's
I
it.
love it. I love it. I love it. Hannah says, I was a big prude. That being a pick had me very close minded.
PK.
The PK,
Oh,
preacher's
okay.
kid.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah, and then y'all do turn out to be the biggest.
That's
Whee!
where I was going to say. So
Ah,
my experience was the preacher's
That's the
kid
truth.
was
They
the one
do.
that gave it up the easiest usually.
Boy,
You know,
they be Wayne Dang doodling, boy.
so that's crazy.
Yeah.
What about needing more time alone?
yes. No, I'm
What
sorry.
how has this become normalized for you in terms of when you weigh sex versus intimacy? How has the need to spend more time alone, how's this impacted thing? And while you're thinking about it, DJ says, I wish I was like y'all. I'm ugly, so I just stay in the house.
I
Man,
don't
LOL.
believe that
get
for
out of
one
here,
Well,
bro.
he
damn minute.
well
Get out of
notice he
here,
put the
bro.
LOL on the back end, so we
Yeah.
know you joking. And bruh, I've seen you out and about and everything. I know pussy get thrown at you now, and
Oh
your
yeah.
ass probably ain't stopping.
He been
Right.
yeah. Yeah, he probably got to carry two baseball mitts to get all the coochie that's getting thrown at him. I already
You
know,
out in it,
DJ.
brother DJ. You be
Stop
dressed. You have
capping,
your fellas
as they
with you.
say.
You trap, yo. I see you, bro. I see you.
Yeah, I see him too. I do
But
too.
how, Tasha? I'm gonna let you let you let you. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Yes,
You
sir.
capping. I know. We
Yes,
already know.
sir.
This one right here, spending time alone, the need, want, the desire. I am so, and I know it's like I'm in like a really, really weird place with it, but, and it may, for some people, it may not seem healthy, but I love to spend time by myself. I, I need it because I find people so draining.
Woo.
I do. I find people so draining. And I think that there's more people like thieves out there that steal your joy, that steal your peace. I think that there's a lot of those vampires that are out there, those
Mm.
energy vampires. And so for me, I've surrounded myself with everything that I want or need. And so any sort of human interaction that I get or social interaction, it's going to be here or at work. I talk to people all day long at work,
Right.
but I need that time to like recuperate too.
I love it. I love
Let
it.
me ask you this, Tasha. When you said that a long time is very important to you, Is it you don't want to be in the company? Is men do they get on your nerves, or is just people in general when you talk about your alone time?
It's
Okay,
it's people in general.
okay,
It's not I'm not gonna say it's like it's not that they get on my nerves. It's just sometimes just the behaviors of people. Whenever I do go out, I do tend to like watch people. I see how they interact. I'm listening to them, and like mentally for me, it's like that's like I feel like sometimes people make life more complicated than what it needs to be.
yeah,
And so I feel like I have to have an escape because when I am out or when I do interact with people, I feel like a lot of times I'm putting on an act
Mm.
because I honestly, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I promise.
gotcha.
But
Right.
it's my personality too. Believe it or not, I am an introvert. I am a true introvert. So
Yeah,
She's not lying.
yeah.
She is not lying. What about you, Brother Kenny? This is there for you more of a need to, you know, have more alone time, and how, if anyways, has this impacted your level of sex or intimacy?
Man, I can be honest with you guys. I can be totally transparent. I'm sick of myself. I'm tired. I enjoy my own company, but God dog it, I'm about sick of me and my own damn company. I want a playmate, somebody I can, you know what I'm saying, to bond something, a woman that I can kick it with. I love my granddaughter to death. I love her to death. But doggone it, I need some adult attention. but I do like my me time. Don't get me wrong. I've had so much alone time. You're
Okay.
perfectly honest. The last since 2013. I mean, really,
Okay.
I've had a lot of long time. When
Okay.
I divorced, I haven't been in a serious relationship since my
Okay.
marriage. I've had dates here and there, but anything just like an exclusive, I haven't been in one in 10 years. So yeah, I mean, I'm cool with my alone time, but again, like I say, I'm sick of myself at this point.
Okay. Okay. This one is very tricky for me because I think I've been alone so long now that I don't know any other way.
That's
I
what I'm
fear
afraid of too.
I fear for me that what I'm looking for may even be unrealistic at this stage, because I'm with Tasha in this sense. What I do for a living requires me to be on. See, Tasha and Kenny, you know this too. You come from that background,
Right,
of journalism.
right.
And when you have to be on all day, now I don't hate people as much as Tasha do, but even right now tonight, coming here, my last interaction, literally 30 minutes before I started the show, it had me in a bad headspace. I dealt with an absolute numbskull. And when you have to be on and deal with people, and that's what I do every day, Tasha's so right. It takes so much out of you to where when I get off, I'm looking at the clock even as we speak. It's 8:43. I'm already counting how many hours I have left for me.
Right.
So the idea that I've got to share that with somebody, it has impacted my sex life and my need for intimacy, especially because now I'm gonna go where you went, Kenny. I do want somebody, but this is the most selfish thing in the world I'm gonna say. I only want them when I want them.
Mm,
I'm being completely transparent here. In an ideal situation, I want to get off work and take my shower and play my Alexa and listen to my music and get me right mentally and shed my day. I even want to get in bed and eat. Tasha says I make love to my food.
you do.
I don't want anybody
mm.
around when I'm eating. I'm a big fat man. I love my food. I cook marry me chicken with the big jumbo shrimp in it tonight. I can't wait to get to it. And I don't want anybody in that space when I'm eating. Don't want to answer questions. Don't want to be attentive. But then I do have a need, like you said, Kenny, for a level of intimacy, not sex, not sex. You know what I wish in a perfect world? That when it gets to be about 11 o'clock, it would be so great to have somebody to talk to. to have somebody there to watch a movie with. Fucking is cool, but yes, somebody to just be there, to lay next to know they're there, and we don't have to talk that nonverbal contact of knowing they're there. I wouldn't mind that, and then I want them gone in the morning. So I don't know if what I'm looking for is realistic, but I'm
I,
being so honest, and that's where I'm at.
I'll be honest with you, Black. I think that is realistic. I think a lot of relationships do. That's how they work now. I can say that you probably you would work well in a long distance relationship. You would
Yes,
work well in y'all having separate homes.
yes,
You would work well with
yes.
that. And I'm seeing this. I'm not with my own eyes, but on social media, I'm seeing a lot of people really like that. They want an intimacy with a partner, but they still want their own space. They want
I
their
do.
own separate houses. So
I do.
I get it. I mean, and that works for some people. That works for some relationships.
I really do. And so that's why, yeah, for me, my alone time is extremely important to me. And I don't want to give it up at this stage of my life. I've worked
Hmm.
too hard to get to this place. To, like Tasha said, I've surrounded myself with all of the trappings of things that make me happy genuinely. What's up, Miss Tyra? She's I guess agreeing with me.
Hey, what's up, Miss Tyra?
And and so I don't want to share that. And I know that's as selfish as fuck to say it that way, but I don't want to share that. It's really all about me. And I want to be able to give what I want to give in those moments of intimacy, not just sex, even, because again, for me at this stage, sex is it's 20 minutes. There was a time when, it might do the marathon shit, but physically all that, that's not happening now. Now bust a nut and let's roll over. So to your point, Kenny, it has to be more than just the physical at this stage, because I can do the physical without ever taking her back to my bedroom. I get my dick sucked right there, put a towel under me so you won't get drippy juices on my couch, and then turn you on your knees and beat the guff off that muff and put you on up out of here.
God, dog.
So
Yo.
romantic.
Yeah,
So
doesn't that sound
romantic.
romantic, ladies? Doesn't that sound romantic? With Valentine's Day right around the corner, Brother Black could get you on up out of there.
you
Yeah,
know, Valentine's
Oh
Day
my
is coming.
God.
So look,
yeah.
for those of you out there that just want to come through and get the guff beat off that muff, I'm available.
No.
He's a couple of different packages for you too, ladies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh man, you're
Oh,
hilarious.
let's
Oh
talk
boy.
about getting new hobbies and friends, and whether or not this one even has impacted your changes as we've evolved in sex and intimacy. Has this
Mm.
affected things over time? Because this one, I think about people's situations specifically, where you got some couples, they want to see each other all the time. They want to be, it ain't real unless you're the first face I see and the last person I spoke to. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And
Right.
then the kids are always there for those of you who have kids or whatnot, and again, this need to know everything about each other, it's there. That's this. I don't know if that's a generational thing or what, but for you, how do you see this as far as getting new hobbies and friends impacting your level of intimacy and sex?
I
It's
don't
it's
know.
not it's
I
not no
don't.
new friends. I'm too old to be developing new friends. Like it's
Right.
hard.
That's
It's
what I
hard. Like
wanted to hear.
like as an adult, it's much harder. And I don't think something, being a child sets you up for like a lot of hard truths that you're gonna face as an adult,
I know where
because
you're going.
going out on the playground when you're younger and you can make friends and then that'll develop over time. As an adult, your interest and everything and the level of expectation that is required now in friendships of what people are demanding. Number one, they don't want you to be friends with anybody else. They want that whole connected to you all the time, constantly. They want to know everything about you.
Yep.
Heaven forbid if you can't do something, then it's like, oh, well, then you're just not a real friend. There's a different level of friendship out here, or even just a different definition that we're working with. So no new friends. I'm sorry.
I love that you kept that real because Tosh and I talk about that all the time. What about for you, Brother Kenny?
Yeah, I mean this one, getting new hobbies and new friends. Now, I'm not trying to really get no new friends. I really only have a select few of cats that I deal with anyway.
Hmm.
So as far as that affecting intimacy and sex, that wouldn't have any issue at all. Even getting new hobbies. My thing is, I would hope that the person that I would be with, that they would have their own thing going on, where whatever hobby that they love to do, they continue to do so. Whatever friends they got, they can still hang out. And that shouldn't affect our relationship, in my opinion. But I ain't trying to be all up under you, and you ain't. I hope you ain't trying to be all up under me either.
Okay.
So it's a balance in my opinion. You just find that happy medium, I
I
guess.
love it. I'm gonna go in a different direction with this. Miss Tyra says people get new hobbies and friends to have another option. Mind deterrent from intimacy and sex.
That's
So I
a
like
good
what
point.
I like what you were saying. And you know what, Miss Tyra? Once upon a time, that was a strategy that worked for me for many, many years. I definitely wanted to have a new influx of people coming around me because that was the next few people I was going to fuck. And it was one endless cycle that worked for me for a long time. But to Tasha's point, as I've aged, what my definition of friendship definitely changed. So even when I think about social media, and you got people on here with all these friends, and the shit that they post, it still baffles me how much they're willing to share their personal things with the social media world when none of this shit is real. And that's why you never see me posting what I eat. I just told you I'm have what I'm having for dinner. But unless you're in my close inner circle, I don't send you a picture of what my food looks like. Tasha's seen my food because we share recipes. You know what I'm saying? But me posting it so everybody can say, "Ooh, he really could cook." I don't give a fuck.
Right,
You know,
likes and clicks. Yeah.
right? And then the whole friendship thing. This is where, for me, though, this has impacted. It's taken the place of sex for me. Doing this show, this has become an outlet for me to substitute that. I don't get to physically see you guys. Tasha's my very best friend, but I get to stay connected to her through this. And that has saved me in ways that she may not even know. I truly, truly believe if not for starting this show, I would have an STD. The fact that I've lived in Atlanta for going on this many years and not have an STD, this has been a great substitute to keep my fat black ass out of trouble.
Okay.
And then just yesterday, I got to meet Mr. Falk himself in person. You know what was beautiful about that was that knowing you guys all this time over social media, you hope that when you meet the real thing, it's not
Right.
Memorex, that it's real. And that's an
It's
old reference to an old
right.
commercial. Is it
Yeah.
Memorex or is it real?
Right.
And I can sit here and tell you with no compunction, with all realness, the person I met yesterday was everything I thought he was going to be. And he has an open invitation in my home. He better not come back to Atlanta without coming by here. He don't have to stay in the hotel room. He could stay here. He was so genuine and so real that for me, it made me want to now get out a little bit more and physically, Ken, I got to come see you, my brother.
Yes, sir. We got
I
to make it
got to
happen
come
this
see
year.
you,
Yeah, for sure.
So
I mean, I
for
got to come
me,
that way either something. I got to get my
it
stuff together, but it's gonna happen.
so for me, this really lit a fire. I just told you that's my best friend. I have not been to Memphis. I've got to
Oh,
go to Memphis to see. We had Tasha knows this, and all the time I've been here, she's come to visit me. I hadn't come to visit her. I came one time when I first came, but and I missed that. I missed that level of intimacy. And so when I say intimacy, I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about the intimacy derived from friendship, for us being in the same room, laughing and talking and doing some of the shit that we like to do, to eat at, the restaurant we want to eat at, and staying up all night. And I need that in my life. So when you said, Kenny, about you sick of yourself, I am too.
Yeah.
These fucking walls is my whole world, and I gotta do
Yeah.
better than this,
Yeah.
because
I
what
feel you.
am
I
I
can relate.
working for?
Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
for me is where this one hit. And I got one more I want to bring on, talk about, and this is where I told you I was coming back to this one: accepting changes of body and mind.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I could not get out of here without really talking about this and how it has impacted sex and intimacy. And I'm gonna go first, so I'm gonna get all the embarrassing shit out the way, and y'all can take it where you want to. And Natasha, I'm not going. I'm gonna do my best not to do TMI, but some
Okay.
shit I gotta share. I'm gonna try to keep it
PG. PG.
not only PG, but without really, in a real way. I am diagnosed with diabetes and high blood pressure. Now, in case you don't know, I don't wish this on anybody. It has changed my entire life in ways that I never ever knew. And if I could have foresaw this coming, God, I would have made some different choices. So I'm telling you now, I hurt every day of my life. I'm in pain every single day of my life. I have all kinds of medication, and most of which I try not to take because I'm afraid of being addicted to it and the side effects as well. Um, but I suffer from sciatica, peripheral neuropathy, and gout. And I have gout in my hands and my feet. But diabetes and high blood pressure also, the obesity and what it does to your libido, to your
Right.
sex drive, not to mention body dysmorphia, just how you look and how you feel constantly. I sit here every day in pain. And so physically, there are things I can't even do. I can't stand as long as I used to. So sometimes when I have a particularly bad day and I'm cooking dinner, I have a chair in my kitchen I have to use. That Superman routine I used to be able to do sexually, that's gone. Those days are gone. Can't do it. You know, I'm not going to go too in my, but there are things that these conditions I deal with have changed my everyday life and things that I could do, which forces me to know that I do need to be alone, because I wouldn't want to put the burden of that on a woman in a relationship long term. So when you said, Kenny, about a long term relationship, that's what I could handle. If you're coming in for a weekend, I could do a pretty damn good job of disguising some of this and showing you a great time and probably performing my manly duties to a certain extent. But there's the other reason with the need for intimacy, because if it's just sex, I probably will let you down. Because if you think you coming in on the weekend, we gonna fuck, baby, that's not gonna happen. Now, if we connect on a different level and we truly feel each other, and then I would be great. I'm clean. I could cook. I think I'm a pretty good sense of humor, conversationalist. All of those things I can deal with. I'm attentive. I'm all of that. So if you're looking for intimacy, which is what I have to have at this stage, because those days are gone for me. I know I've said
Mm.
a lot. I'll let you guys go.
You go ahead, Tosh.
This one is also a personal one for me as well. The accepting the changes of body and mind, which is why for me, yes, it's a lot easier to not really look for either one of them. And I'm not saying that I'm even placing one above the other, intimacy versus sex, nothing like that. For me, it's just easier just to say no altogether to everything, because I'm not where I want to be. So, have you ever had those times like whenever like you look back like on pictures of yourself and you thought that you were fat and then you were like, "Oh my
Woo!
God, I wish I could go back to being that fat instead of this fat?" Yeah, so like that.
Tasha, go back. Let's go back to 2015
Man, okay.
when I, I got my degree, and that night we were out. One of the best nights of our life. Remember, we had graduated from University of Phoenix, and me, ain't gonna name names. We were
No,
all
no, no.
out and hanging out. Remember, we hung out, and then we ended up going to Clicks.
Yes.
It was one of the most fun nights
Yeah.
ever, and I thought I was fat then. I had on a sweater vest, that
Mhm.
night, and I hated my body. I thought I was fat. I would cut this left arm off to go back to that weight and what I could do, because back then I could still bend all the way down and get my little groove on. And like you said, that was 2015. So some 7 years later, yeah, Brother Kenny.
Mm. Um, for me, I can honestly say I've never really had the body issue. I'm not sitting here saying I'm a Adonis or whatever, but I've always been kind of a
Mm-hmm.
slim type guy my whole life. Um, Now, as far as mine, most definitely, that's probably been the biggest hurdle that I'm still dealing with, because of being when you were with someone for so long, and I've always kind of been like one woman at a time type cat.
Right.
That ain't being in this place messed my mind up a little bit, and
Right.
I've had some bumps, this pandemic definitely changed a whole lot of stuff for me. I've lost a lot, so now that
Right.
that part
Right.
is, I'm not really confident in that, because the date, you got to bring something to the table too. Right now my table is still, I'm still trying to rebuild it, so my mind is really in a really fragile place right
I
now. So
got you.
I definitely can relate to that change when it comes to the mind part.
I love it. I love again. So man, look, I want to thank you too. It's not easy talking about this, as people might think it is.
No, it's not.
I talk about this,
Right.
and I know some of it's funny, but it's not easy. And what's even more, we don't talk about this enough. We suffer in our own little silos, and we all dealing with our levels of insecurity, and that we keep it to ourselves. And unless you do have a really good friend like I do, that Tasha and I do talk to each other about, but certainly men, we don't ever go there, you
Right.
know. And you
Yeah.
say something a lot of times, Kenny. You say, well, just because somebody's smiling, you know, because we tend to keep a lot of this in. And I told you guys, I want to start changing that. I want to start normalizing being vulnerable. And again, I'm not advocating boo hoo hoo, that kind of thing. But I mean, just talking about it, because this is real shit. And again, we are aging, and these are real things that's happening to us.
Right.
I can't tell you how many times long after this show is aired that I have a conversation with somebody that I didn't even think was watching this show, and we get on that topic, or I'll get that message that boom, 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 you know, and I'm not even gonna say no names. I get messages, believe it or not, all the time from people who I never was thought was watching, and then they'll share something with me because I've been so open about
Mm-hmm.
things, and so I'm just at a place where I can't afford to be ashamed. I'm working on my health because I want to get back to. Tasha and I talk about this, you know, now, and I'm gonna tell you, it's hard.
Yeah.
On my lunch break right now, on here on the left, I'm taking Ozempic to try to lose some weight. On the right, I just bought me a whole new pint of cookie ice cream. You goddamn right.
you,
So,
you got the devil on your one shoulder, and you got the God, the angel on your
you
other.
know,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
man.
and,
But you
and
can
it's
do it. You can do it, brother. You can do it. You just
but
got
that's
to.
the thing. I need to substitute something better. If you're gonna take something away, you need to replace it with something. And I'm
Right.
realizing that. And I don't always make the best choices when it comes to substituting things. If Tasha and I were in the same city, I would not be this big. She wouldn't allow it. There's things she would see and no, Black, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go walking. We're gonna go do this. Well, so I need to get a little bit more out of my own head, out of my own shell, and go a few more places because I gotta get. I'm not even. You talked about the pandemic. I'm not even nowhere near as active as I used to be, and I've got to. I'll share this with you, and I hope he don't mind me saying this. This ain't nothing. This ain't the part he wouldn't mind. Brother Lamar talked to me about how he travels and goes places, and I envied that because he talked about just going, taking day trips, and I never thought
Mhm.
about that. And he turned me on to something I'm going to start using, to where the way he travels, some of these round trip trips $60, $70,
Mhm.
and he told me about going literally to another city, spending the day seeing that city, getting him something to eat, and hopping back on a plane. Now I don't know if I'm ready for just that part yet with my weight and issues, but I damn sure it inspired me that I have no excuses not to go some places though.
Mhm.
And
Right.
as much as I talk about other people, I've started to imprison myself in my own little world, and I'm breaking the fuck out. I can't do this,
Yeah.
you know. And Tasha, I'm gonna end it by saying this. You said to me recently, you said, I gotta believe that there's still some good people out there. I'm gonna take that from you. I gotta believe that I can find somewhat of what I'm looking for, but I know to find it, I gotta go looking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
gotta get out a little bit more. So
Yep.
I
All
thank you
right,
guys, for
man.
sharing this. And again,
Great show.
this is not the end. I've got a couple more topics on this. I've got a few. I've got. I wasn't able to pull off today. I've got a couple of special guests that's already contacted me that wants to come on, and I almost pulled it off tonight, but I was in the wrong headspace with the energy was all wrong. So I'm postponing it. So maybe I can get this together for next Wednesday, and we're gonna have a part two talking about something this serious. So
Great show. Great show.
Yeah.
Definitely for
appreciate you.
sure.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. We
I
appreciate
appreciate
you,
you
brother.
guys. I love you guys. I
Love
appreciate
you
that.
back.
I definitely feel better now. So I am going to go get in my happy place
Mhm.
and enjoy my meal. So
All right. As you should. As you
yes,
should.
sir.
See you guys.
Kenny, love you.
I
Tasha, love
love you
you.
guys. Love you,
My
Tasha. We out.
viewers popping in, appreciate you. Miss some of the family. As always, be good to yourself. Enjoy the rest of your week and keep it real.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Peace out.